Okay, we're live. I'm going to start this. Three, two, one. Hello, everyone. Welcome to inThirty. And you may be saying, where's Justin? Well, Justin's either late or somewhere, but he handed the reins of introducing the show, a very prestigious honor to me, Heim of HeimTime.com. And we're joined by Paul of, I forgot it now, SearchWilderness.com.
There you go.
Oh, I got it. Did you ever think of, like, Search.Wilderness?
Is that TLD? I don't think so.
Let's say it is. Would you do Search Wilderness?
I would probably do both.
Well, now I have a question. What happens if you find a TLD, like coffee, like .coffee, and like register like espresso.coffee? Will that like rank you higher in the search engine optimization field?
No.
No? It just sounds cool?
Sounds cool. It could affect the relevance, so... but there's no difference between having espresso.coffee and having espressocoffee.com.
Is there a .seo TLD, or you don't know
No, there isn't. There's .marketing.
Nobody cares. I think it SEO. Well, I guess you could be SEO.marketing.
Yeah. It's actually interesting with these new TLDs. There's a lot of them are blocked out automatically. So, like, if there was espresso.coffee, there's likely they blocked it out already. I'm not sure why they're doing that. But
Well, I do know. I was trying to get divorce.attorney for my wife, and bankruptcy.attorney, and bankruptcy.lawyer, and all that. Because I would think that if you type in bankruptcy space lawyer into Google, all that stuff, I mean, it should be the first one, right?
It depends. Like, bankruptcylawyer.com might have an equal chance.
That has to be a signal. The idea of TLD.
It's a small relevancy signal, not a ranking signal. But anyway.
Well, that's what I was thinking about. I was hoping that there was going to be like search wilderness African safari or something like that.
That'd be cool.
So, okay, so yeah, we don't have Justin with us. He's stuck in New Jersey traffic or whatever that means. But we have 3 topics for you. Let's start with the first one. So, Paul, do you use Facebook at work?
I think it's only released to a very small subset of
No, but I'm talking, do you Facebook at work?
Oh. Yeah, I use Facebook at work.
So
I have to sometimes for my job, but other than that, I also use Facebook at work.
So you're using Facebook at your place of employment for actual work reasons?
Yes.
100%, like, well, you don't have to answer that. Everything you do on Facebook at your employment is for...
I mean, like, I might be on Facebook for leisure purposes during my lunch break.
But you're not going to post any article that has "you won't believe what happens next," right?
Unless I wrote it.
Well, are you going to post the article and save everyone a click by putting a small one-liner underneath it?
Perhaps.
I think that should be everyone's New Year's resolution. Just like when your grandparents forward you articles, or the extreme right wing or the left wing, and you go to Snopes and you debunk them, I think putting "saved you a click, colon, and a small synopsis" should be everyone's New Year's resolution. I don't know, Paul. I've been doing
Meta filter.
Have I what?
Used Meta filter much?
No, I haven't.
I like what they do is, so depending on the content type, they have like different acronyms that they'll use. So if it's a YouTube link, they'll do like, was it SLY Tube or something like that. It's like single link YouTube. So they let you know sort of what you're clicking on beforehand. So you could do like saved you a click. So say SYAC and then like a description of it.
Okay, all I know is that all these things that end up "you won't believe what happens next" generally is so meaningless. I spend more time clicking, waiting for it to load, and I have another question in a second. And then just to find the content, like I saw one today, guy bakes with pancake batter. you won't believe what happens next. And I think there was a one-liner and 100 different other listicles surrounding it. And so I post, I guess the only thing that he does is you won't believe what happens next. He makes pancakes. I mean, I think that's what I got up to.
You clicked on it.
I did click. Well, of course, I'm doing a public service. I'm saving everyone a click. Now, I'm not as good, and I pay homage to the guy in YouTube at Saved You a Click and at HuffPost Spoilers. Those two people are doing the Lord and Savior's work. Because just going through there, I've learned all my pop culture news in 30 seconds rather than having to click through 10 different Upworthies and BuzzFeeds and everything else.
There you go. Although I do think Buzzworthy, wow, I just combined them. BuzzFeed's better than Upworthy and the other ones. There's some ounce of like legitimate journalistic interest at BuzzFeed.
Well, shed some light on this. So I'm reading this, and on the bottom, or in the middle, or on the top, or wherever they decide to put ads above the fold, I get police records for people in Highland Park, where I live. And I've once clicked on it just to see what kind of link bait I get. And it takes me to something like that has no... It's just like a page filled with other listicles from the website, and more egregious. You won't believe what your neighbor in Highland Park did. Those... Can't Google filter those out? Can't they not delist, but isn't there some SEO like no there? Putting too many like spam when your page is 90% spam and 10% content.
Yeah, I mean you're not supposed to do that. And I assume that the algorithms are going to pick up on that one day, but they're not perfect.
Okay, let's go back to Facebook at Work. So you brought this up, and I heard about it, I think, last week. I didn't even look at it. What is it?
It's sort of a self-contained social network based on Facebook for your business.
And and you said it before the show. What was that company? It won one of the TechCrunch top 40 or 50, like, I don't know, a million years ago. Yeah, Yammer. Is Yammer still around?
Yammer's still around. I've never encountered it in a while. My company doesn't use it. And I don't really know anyone else personally whose company uses it. But it sort of makes sense. What really makes sense is, I don't know if you've ever used Slack.
Look, I'm nowhere. I'm not in the traditional business world. I mean, Facebook for me at work is blocked. Like altogether. So, and what I learned is I'm considered a public figure. So everything I do, I have to assume that my boss, my my colleague, and my enemy and my competitor are all looking over my shoulder.
Sure.
But I mean, I guess I can see something like this at work. I guess
that would solve it. It would let you to communicate with your coworkers, maybe your students, and do that in a way that is self-contained, so you're no longer exposed to the outside world and those pressures.
Well, let me ask this. The other problem is that it adds another layer of social networking, another thing that you have to check. If Facebook accomplishes this, and I don't know how they're going to do it, I don't have any access to it now, is it going to be like you click... I can see it working if they can have, let's say, a second notification panel that says, here are your notifications from your Facebook at Work profile. So I don't have to I don't have to go to two different websites. I just go to one. I go to Facebook. I do my Facebook thing. I can switch quickly between the profiles, see if there's anything. Oh, there's nothing? Okay, I can move on. How do you think this is going to work?
I don't know. There's they already released the app in the iOS App Store. I haven't tried downloading it, but I think you can't really use it unless your business is enrolled.
My issue was, so I run a number of Facebook pages, one for inThirty, one for my school, one for the town, and even if it's just there, it's so cumbersome. And then Facebook shoots you out of their app into the Pages app so you can better manage it. And when I get a message from my students, it sends me to the message to messages, but it's messages via inside the app pages, and it becomes this tedious nonsense. And I guess I don't mind, but go ahead.
What you have to understand about Facebook pages is they're completely aiming to make money off of it. The whole point of Facebook pages is so that they know, that you're a business or some sort of organization. They want you to put money into advertising. So the user experience doesn't matter to them as much.
Well, I mean, I guess if you're, I don't know, take
your personal Facebook page.
Well, look, I'm on the desktop site now. And by the way, this is another announcement. If you, just point of order, if Facebook on the mobile browser, I've always thought is way better than Facebook in any of the apps. But otherwise, so I'm at the desktop site, and the pages I see right now, Mr. Haim Cohen, I get a 1, Highland Park, New Jersey, I get a 3. And I'm assuming those are notifications, and that's great. That's exactly what I want. When I click through it, it goes, it's not really a notification, it's an activity. When I do get a notification, it does pop up in the notification area, which, to be honest, I actually do really like. So if this Facebook at work is going to take off, I want them, and I'm assuming they're going to do the same, but to continue doing the same, but have big warning labels like, you have now moved into the work zone, or you have now moved into your personal zone, just so people don't get confused. But I like it. I guess I like the idea of having some sort of work social network. And if you check it, like you check Facebook, it's very simple to say, hey, coworkers, I'm not going to friend you here, but I'll friend you there. There's no real difference.
Right.
So, I don't know. I don't know how to reach, because I have a lot of students. Oh, I want to be your Facebook friend. Well, if I could say, hey, you know what, be my friend at work, that may be better, because I know that's going to be monitored, or that's going to be not accessible to everybody, but there's some sort of siloed information that I know better. So, I mean, I think it's a good idea. I don't know, do we know what other features they've said that they're going to introduce?
I don't know that much. If you look at the app, it legit looks like its own Facebook, its own self-contained Facebook, and you need like a corporate email address to sign up.
So I can't use my @rutgers.edu that I used to first sign up with Facebook way back when?
I think it has to be set up through their employer. So I doubt Rutgers has it.
I wonder if we can get an inThirty Facebook at work. Maybe we're not a big enough employer. Who knows?
Seems kind of pointless.
Well, I know, but I always like trying new things. So to have it, even if it's a company of 1 or 2, you know what? Okay.
You got to try Slack. I've been using Slack like crazy. It's chat rooms. It's almost reminiscent of IRC, but they're also private groups that are as. So I'm in like 3 different Slack groups now, and they're like the hottest thing happening right now.
So, well, when I'm ready to, I'm not feeling, after Elo failed miserably, I don't know if I can try another social network. I had my hopes set on Elo.
Elo's still going.
I don't think I've posted once on Elo. I don't know.
Right.
Okay, well,
I didn't post. When I first made my Twitter account, I posted like once and then stopped using it for like 2 years, and then I picked it up again.
Well, let's reevaluate in 2 years. Let's go 6 months with Elo.
Okay.
Or another 6 months. Let's go back to August when it was soft launched. Well, the next thing we want to talk about is I got an email today from the Google people saying thanks for exploring with us. And this is clearly a glass email, and it basically says, hi there, and a whole page, and it says, we've moved Google Glass out of the Google X Labs and into graduated into just the normal whatever developer channel. And we're happy that you helped us. We've seen so many things about it and all this good stuff, and I was feeling good. And then I thought about it. What does that mean? Is there more glass? Is there less glass? Am I getting a new model? What's going on? Because it says we're going to stop developing on your current model, and we're moving into more of a consumer release. And by the way, if you care, the last day to buy Google Glass Explorer is January 19th. And with that news, they said we're taking Tony Fadell, and this is where Justin would be great. He was one of the he was an Apple person, an Apple designer. Google took him. Nest took him away. Google bought Nest, and now they're moving him to the Google Glass department. So let's ask Paul, who's not in. Remember, I'm the one that has Google Glass, so I'm the fanboy here. Do you think this does anything for Google Glass? Does it bring it back into the spotlight?
I think so. I don't. If you look at articles written about Google Glass in like the last couple of months, they're all like, Google failed us. They completely failed us. They stopped supporting the platform. They like let all the developers down. And I mean, you're not wearing your glass, so it seems to be true, right? People got sick of it, at least in its
you know what it was?
State.
It's not that I got sick of it. See, that it's. I've gotten so beaten down with. Well, before that, let's take a step back. I don't think there have been so many. I don't think I can count the number of positive Google Glass articles in any capacity. There's one here, there's one there, there's the happy-go-lucky father watching his daughter take steps, but other than that, there hasn't been any positive articles. So every time someone sees me with glass, I'm almost basically starting a fight with them. They're coming up to me, they're saying nasty things, and yes, this has happened, or I have to defend the fact that I'm wearing it. So every time I wear glass, I say, am I in this mindset to not go crazy on someone? When I first got it, people were asking me. As they started reading the articles, they got very, very negative to the thing. And you go places, oh, we don't like glass in here. Can you take this off? Can you do this? And instead of arguing with them, I say, you know what? I'm just not in the mood. So I end up not wearing it. I will say that I have thought about selling it. I wear it probably now on weekends and maybe once or twice a week to work, but that's about it. So to see that go ahead.
It's this guy that they put in charge of it sounds like he's a big shot. He's someone that Google really values.
Well, they poached him from Apple, so yeah, he's.
I don't think they would throw someone like that at Glass and not do something awesome with it.
Well, what I speculated, and I guess I was wrong, was okay. Wearables came out, the watch. I think if you want to watch, the Moto 360 is the absolute watch to get right now, before the iWatch comes out, before we see it, and. I poo-pooed on watches early on, saying you still need two hands to operate it, all this stuff. And then I saw the Moto 360, and I'm thinking about it. I still pull out my phone faster than I go to with glass. So I was considering buying a watch and selling glass and saying, you know what, this was a good experiment. I think it was good because you're right. There wasn't any development. We haven't seen Twitter pulled out of their glass app. So what is there?
It's because Google stopped being a good place for developers on Glass. They didn't really help the developers out.
So with that, yeah, look, I'm not denying that I haven't seen a use case. So that's what everyone's asking for. What's the use case? And the people that are really gung ho about Glass have given me use cases, but none of them involve like private citizens, hospitals. Excellent use case with surgery, with all this stuff. They are developing apps there. They're developing apps for law enforcement. So there's a lot of niche areas that it's working for. But the average person, you and me and the rest of the world, it's not there yet. I mean, I can see a waitress doing this where the person talks, they grab the order, and they can do the order with. But other than that, I mean, the recipes. Like a recipe on glass, okay, I get it, but it's not that killer app. It's not $1,500 worth of like being great.
It's also worth noting that they poached this guy from Nest. Nest is a hardware company, and Glass
Well,
is a piece of hardware.
Nest poached Tony Fadell from Apple.
Okay.
So he's an Apple guy, probably responsible for one of the designs on the first iPhone, right? This is where I wish Justin was here because he knows his Apple's three-letter executives better than anybody else. So yeah, well, Glass is hardware. They got Android Wear is good. Android Wear absolutely excellent. So now we're looking at let's make the hardware better. And I don't know what they're going to do. I'm hoping. Selfishly, I'm hoping that they're saying thanks for spending the money. We're giving you version consumer product 1. And I have a feeling they've been silent. We haven't seen an update. We haven't seen a lot for a couple months now. So
maybe something.
I have a feeling something's coming, and we're going from there. And my speculation is, you know what? I have a feeling that we're going to see an announcement like 2 weeks after the iWatch, either being announced or being actually released. So
that would make a lot of sense. And I'd like to see that. I'd still like to see Glass succeed.
I mean, Glass is very dependent on your phone's Wi-Fi and everything else. So, and in my school, since I'm in a huge Faraday cage, it always is hard. But look, what I've told people, when it works, it is spot on. It works really well. When it doesn't work, it's just frustrating to the point that here's my phone. I just take my phone out, get everything done, and that's it. So, I don't know. I hope it succeeds. I'm really excited. It made me happy that I'm hanging around to Glass and everything else. So, like I said, let's hope. And finally, our last story is Samsung reportedly was going to buy BlackBerry for $7.5 billion, and then last second they pulled out. And I don't know, Paul, you've used a BlackBerry. You had like one of the first
time, but yeah, it wasn't one of the first. It was somewhere middle in their life. Really, the big heyday where they were really popular.
Well, look,
smartphone.
I'm sure our listeners remember the old Blackberries. And I mean, I don't know anybody right now who still uses a BlackBerry. I'm sure that there are people. I mean, I think that most of the government still use it, but I don't know what happened. I mean, look, we could talk about their demise and everything else, but I think that if they came out right now and said, here's a BlackBerry with the browser here's a WebKit browser, like on the iPhone and on Android, here is BlackBerry Messenger, the keyboard that you absolutely love, and some way to get apps on there. Get the big apps. It's not that hard. BlackBerry's a productivity device. So people want productivity devices. I don't think they care for games. And say, here are the top 100 apps on BlackBerry, and go from there. I think they would have a winner. And I saw an article about that, but here's the thing. Right now it's too late. So I think what they're worth is their patents. All I keep on hearing are patents, patents, patents. And so who knows? Is $7.5 billion worth it for the patents?
What patents do they have?
I'm sure they have the method of sending keyboard keystrokes to a screen with a trackball. I mean, they have all these esoteric patents that they can sue people.
I mean, is the trackball useful? I mean,
if you study patents and you realize what these troll companies are suing people for. Remember, the Rockstar Consortium with Apple and Microsoft to go against Google was let's buy all the Nortel patents that were completely useless, but basically made 4G work and fight everyone who's doing it. I'm sure BlackBerry has some patents. I know they have a patent on the keyboard. So to be able to imagine that keyboard on an Android device.
Yeah, I mean, there's still something to be said about a physical keyboard. It doesn't really work with our modern touchscreen phones.
BlackBerry sued Ashton Kutcher over that iPhone keyboard attachment. I don't know if you remember what I'm talking about. And won because it was so similar, and that's what everyone wanted. So they claim that they're going to go back and change some stuff, but I mean, I have a feeling they were the first smartphones, so they had to first deal with how to get internet properly and the tracking of links, the trackball methodology of scrolling through a web page. I mean, nonsense like that. Or how to encrypt, because you have to remember, BlackBerry Messenger was bulletproof.
There might be some
That's why people
encryption
got.
stuff. They may be interested in some of that stuff.
I mean, not that Samsung shouldn't buy it to release the BlackBerry apps as their own, because we're seeing more and more that Samsung is leaving TouchWiz, or they're putting it all into Tizen. By the way, the Samsung released the Tizen phone, but putting it all into something else. Samsung should reduce the apps, but if you're going to do something, let Samsung be the security phone. Take the BlackBerry stuff and the security and do this. Take their BBM and redo the algorithm or something like that and say, now you can't, NSA, you can't get in. I don't know. But they're saying that the patents are worth it. I'm looking now as we speak, but Bloomberg has an article that's saying that they have some patents. Predictive typing and setting up meetings, which again sounds stupid, but if BlackBerry can make money on suing people, I can see them starting to do that.
Mm.
But I'm trying to think what else. What else can Samsung gain? I mean, can they release? I guess Samsung can release a phone, let's say called the Galaxy S6 with keyboard, right? And or the S7 with a keyboard, because I think we just said it. There's no more keyboarded phones. I don't think you can buy a flagship phone that has a keyboard.
Yeah, but the physical keyboard doesn't really work for Android. I can't see a way that it would work.
I mean, I can see it. The reason you have a physical keyboard, have a couple of hot buttons, text message, and maybe browser. I don't know what else people want. Maybe some customizable buttons. I don't know. I've never used a physical keyboard on a phone. So for me,
maybe
I was with the beginning with the 3G. I was the first with the iPhone 3G. I was learning. My autocorrect started then. Now you had a Droid. You had the original Droid. What did you end up doing? Did you end up using the keyboard? Did you end up using the keyboard? Yeah. So
I use it a lot.
People.
I guess that, yeah.
Would you go back to it if an iPhone came with a keyboard? Even if you had to plug it in.
I don't think it's necessary. I think I'm equally as fast on a touchscreen at this point.
So what's going on is Apple and all these virtual keyboard companies are saying, look, give it a chance. Even though you don't want to, you'll figure it out.
Well, yeah, but maybe there's a market for people that aren't giving it a shot. Could penetrate an older market. I could see that happening.
So, among the patents it received just this month are ones that cover secure message handling, a new type of keyboard, smartphones that can measure magnetic fields, and email filters. Okay. A recent patent includes one for a display that's less likely to shatter when dropped. So I mean, I guess just to buy that, to say your phone is 30% less likely to break if dropped from 5 feet onto concrete. I don't know. That may be worth it. Because we have to separate the flagship phones out. You have the iPhone, and then Samsung needs to do something. They're losing in the hardware field to HTC. They're losing in the brand name recognition to Apple. And yeah, they're still selling a bunch, but they have to find more that differentiates them. And maybe this is it. I think they should. I think it's a good buy. I don't know if $7.5 billion is the right answer.
That's a lot of money.
But look, WhatsApp is $19 billion.
Yeah, but what app has some clear value? Like, it's
means
got their users.
so
It's been
if this can
profitable.
prevent, if this could, maybe it has to. We still have to go on defensive patents, but I don't know. Anyway, we're running out of time. You have any last words
For
on
good.
anything? No. So okay. So until next week, we will see you. Hopefully, Justin will be back next week, and we'll have some news. I'm hoping that there's a Windows 10 announcement next week. I heard rumors of that.
Mm.
So I'm hoping for that. So anyway, we'll see you next week. Have a good night. Bye.
All right.